Hello and welcome back. So in this video we're going to talk about the props, which are also called the arguments in general JavaScript. So how to use it? The props are some kind of taking arguments, taking input and giving the result, just like we do in the JavaScript as I told you, but here it is a little different. Anyway, when you're talking about the functional component, it works differently. Actually, it doesn't work differently, but the placing of code for both of the things are different. Let's talk about how we can use the props in the functional components. So first of all, we need to go here to the index.js, and where is the functional component? Absolutely, this one is the functional component by now. So I'm going right here and I'm adding any space, or already there is any space, so no need to add that. We just need to write the attribute name here. Yes, it is actually simple. You need to add the attribute, and that attribute would be the data you are sending to the function. Anyway, here I'm writing something like data content data, okay, equal to, and here I'm adding like some data, okay, and I'm going to the app.js, and here I need to receive that data. Okay, here I'm sending the data. So actually I'm not ultimately sending the data, but just suppose that I'm sending, because I'm sending the data from the app.js. So I would tell you that no problem. I'm going to the app.js again, and here I need to get the data from the index.js. I'm writing props. Okay, and here after writing the props right here, I need to go down right here or anywhere I want to add the content. For example, right here, or a new one, I'm adding a new P, and here I'm writing some props are here. Okay, so I need to add the curly braces, and I'm going inside the curly braces, and I need to write the props dot. Now, what was the variable, the attribute name? The attribute name was content data here, content data. So I need to use that data, saving it. Now, the props dot content data. Now I need to go to the browser to see if it's working. And here it is. You can see that some props are here, and it is some data. If I change the some data into something different, like I'm writing here in the index.js, I'm writing something from the props, saving. Now going back to the browser, you can see that some data are here, some data from the props. Okay, now what is actually happening here is something. When we are rendering the app here, we are actually importing everything from the app.js to the index.js. Okay, same like that, you are importing the CLS COM here. So we are importing both of them, and here when we are receiving the data, we are in the index.js. Once we are importing everything, we are assigning some new data in the form of attribute, which are called JSX attributes. So when I do this, I save some data in the attribute form, and ultimately I assign that attribute with the tag, which is actually the component. So when I do this, whatever the attribute I've used here would be in here in the form of the props, like that. So when I just call this, it cannot be called right here. So when I call this, ultimately this data got connected with this one, and we get the result, the some data from the props. Anyway, now actually you can make something dynamic with the props. And how? I'm actually going down and writing React DOM again dot render, and everything just like that, app content data, and like that. In here I'm writing, okay, comma, and here, come on, document dot get element by ID, and here I'm adding the root, okay. Instead of the root, I'm gonna go to the index.html. Well, this is not a unique way. There are more ways we would be talking about, but because to understand these things properly, we need to understand the importing and exporting, nesting of the documents, the components into each other. So we will talk about that later. Data2. And now I need to go to the index.js, and here I'm gonna call the data2 and saving it. And absolutely here I'm assigning some other data. For example, actually I'm writing the same thing, some other data changed from previous props. Saving it. Now going to the browser back, and here at the browser you can see that the hello world from the other side, some props are here, some data from the props. Hello world, hello from the other side, some props are here, some other data changed from the previous props. Now hello from the class component, hello from the other side. Okay, so this is how we can put the data using the props in the functional component. We're not discussing about the class component by now. For sure we're going to talk about that later. Till then, stay tuned.